The impact of the Israeli military occupation's violations on Palestinian rural women. Agriculture used to constitute more than 14% of the Palestinian GDP in the mid-1990s, before decreasing to only 3% in 2018. 76.3% of women work in family agricultural land or otherwise for family while unpaid, compared to 11.4% of men. While the percentage of women working in agriculture as employers is 0.3% and 6.6% for men. Palestinians have access to only 13% of water sources, compared to 87% of water sources in occupied Palestine used by Israelis. The separation wall denies Palestinians access to 95% of water sources. Israeli occupation forces are confiscating and de facto annexing Palestinian lands for the benefit of Israeli colonial settlements for the Israeli military army, at the expense of the rights of Palestinian people, which limits women's access to land, ownership, as well as limits access to productive resources. This is especially the case in Area C, which constitutes 60% of the Palestinian land in the West Bank and is under the full control of the Israeli military occupation. As a result, 45,000 rural Palestinians face the threat of forced displacement as a result of the Israeli annexation plan, which aims at annexing a further 30% of Area C. In the village of Al-Auja, in the Jordan Valley, agricultural lands decreased from 35,000 dunams to 3,500 dunams at most due to increased Israeli settlements. Settlement policies of dumping wastewater on agricultural lands and other alleged security encroachments devalues the land and thus is forcing some farmers to either sell or rent their lands or to work inside the settlement. The severe restrictions on Palestinian agricultural exports and products and heavy searches at checkpoints also deprives rural women's access to productive resources and forces them to work in Israeli settlements within poor working conditions. Today, COVID-19 pandemic led to further deterioration on the economic situation. Women farmers and in cooperatives are not able to produce or market their products or crops. Palestinian rural women demand the right to live in freedom and enjoy human security. The international community is responsible to holding the Israeli occupying power accountable for its violations of international law. It must be emphasized that land ownership, control, and access by women must not be separated from the collective and equal enjoyment of resources by all Palestinians on the Palestinian land. Our hope is our sumud, steadfastness.